Balikan natin ang ating mga karambulista at ang programang Karambula sa DWIZ.
Balik po tayo dito sa ating programang Karambola sa DWIZ. Ito pa rin yung mga kaibigan, Jonathan de la Cruz. Siyempre kasama natin si paring Joel Lacsamana, si paring Conrad Banal ay sana nandoon na sa isang area na medyo
nakapag-i-op na siguro yung mga yan.
Medyo sa Santa Elena.
Saka yung mga tournament na ganyan, bari, major tournament sa Santa Elena, malaking course yan eh. Pwede sila mag-shotgun tee-off dyan, yung sabay-sabay.
Sabay-sabay.
I-assign sila sa ibang holes, then biglang may kanyon. Boom! Tapos sabay-sabay sila.
Pwede.
Kaya pag dito ka naglaro sa mga wakwak o dito sa Manila Gold, Diyos ko, pila-pila kayo ka na isa sa front line, isa sa back line. Tapos palakasan na lang ng boses kung sino si Roger Garcia na nanalo dyan, taas ng boses eh. Kami na! Tapos titi-off na sila. By the way, pinag-usapan natin yung turismo, well, let's mention ang El Nido. Hidden Beach makes it sa Condenas. Anong Condenas, ano yan sikat na magazine na
tourist magazine.
Rank 19 among the world's best beaches. Kasi ang nila dito, nakapunta na ako dito na napaliligiran siya ng mga limestone cliffs. Tapos yung bone white sand. Tapos meron ditong, alala ko, merong maliit na bukana ng pasukan. Tapos akitin ng mga turista to, tapos kita nila yung buong laguna. Ang ganda naman itong lugar na to.
Actually,
World's best.
It should be a protected area. I think it is a protected area, and I hope the LGU and the other government agencies in those areas can enforce the protected area program there. Kasi yan ang problema ko minsan paring
na-overdevelop.
Na-overdevelop, hindi lang na-overdevelop. Mali-mali ang mga formulasyon na ginagawa pagdating dyan. The best example, we're talking about Palawan, El Nido in Palawan, underground river. Yung, baka mawala yung ating underground river na napakaganda dyan.
Ganda niya. Nakapuntahan ko yan years ago Talagang maganda.
Maganda talaga. And it is a very good trip. Hindi mo kailangan lagyan yan ng kung ano-anong formulasyon para kumita ka o magaganda yung pag-maintain dyan. Sasabihin nila, hindi, kasi kailangan ganinin natin to dahil walang pa-maintain. Hindi. Ang mag-allocate ang Puerto Princesa City, and I hope Mayor Byron will do that, ng talagang pondo dyan para sa maintain yung area ng underground river. Huwag kunin yung mga, sabihin natin, hindi, ang underground river, ito lang, hindi the whole environment should be protected. Kasi may mga iba, nalalaman ko, parang Joel, and I hope the DNR there is going to work on this thing together with the local government. Nilimit nila yung area ng underground river. Hindi. There is a protected area surrounding the underground river.
Kasi yung ecosystem yan, magkakasama yan
Huwag ninyong lalagyan, huwag ninyong papayagan na magkaroon ng mga titulo dyan. May mga, yan na nababalitaan ko
Tapos meron ng development doon, whatever.
Magkakaproblema tayo. Para nangyari dyan sa Mindoro. Puerto Galera, for example. Napaka-wayward ang development ng Puerto Galera. Sayang. Because it's supposed to be one of the best.
Ang ganda ng Puerto Galera.
At saka ang lapit yan. Ang lapit lang.
Tsaka historically, di ba kaya nga Puerto Galera, yung Bukana.
Bukana, yes. Mindoro. Mina de Oro yan Ibig sabihin, golden area yan. Maraming mga mineral resources.
Pala niyan, Mina de Oro. Mindoro.
So, tingnan po, yung mga areas na yan, and dapat local governments, if the local government is not dapat na yan. Yung mga areas na take over ng national para ma-work out. But the national should do it in a manner na ayos. Hindi kagaya nung ginagawa nila sa Masungi, project transform, pero kasama yung mga nagwakwari. Hindi pwede.
O kaya biglang merong study renewable project again, which is good and all that on paper, pero teka muna, ala pala kayong permit, ala pala kayong ECC.
Nakaaway pa kayo.
Nakaaway pa kayo. Sabay, nakitang-kita, huling-huli kayo dahil na-drone shot.
Na-drone shot kayo dyan.
Ganun ba?
Ito palang Bena, publicly listed company ito.
Sa Singapore.
Sa Singapore.
Kita mo, yan, Singapore
Yan.
naman.
Sige. Baka may mga iba pa kayo masasabi tungkol dyan. Huwag niyong, tanggalin na ninyo yan. Ang sinasabi mo nga, sino man nagsabi, ikaw ba o si Conrad?
No.
Tinanggal nga nila yung kanilang equipment doon, pero nilagay nila in some other area, within the same protected area.
Nilipat lang.
Nilipat lang. Ay nako, huwag na ninyong gawin. Umalis na kayo dyan para ma-workout. And then, I hope Secretary Loizaga and of course the Office of the President will take a second look at this thing so that the Upper Marikina watershed as a protected area really becomes a protected area. Yung huwag na maglagay ng mga kung ano-ano mga kalokohan doon na magpapatitulo ka o kaya magpapakwari ka in that particular area. Mahirap maghanap na lang tayo ng pwedeng pagkunan ng quarry para ma-workout.
Meanwhile, kinocall into question pa rin yung di ba yung Masungi
Yes,
Foundation sila na nga yung nagmamalasakit dyan na inilagay dyan sila di ba binigyan ng poder ni dating
Secretary
Gina Lopez.
And beside that, parang that whole area, 146,000, was proclaimed. There was a presidential proclamation making it the Upper Marikina watershed area talaga. Under then President Marcos pa yan. Matagal na yun.
Even before pa.
Even before pa. Kaya, unless that particular proclamation is amended or revoked or whatever, that proclamation stands. In other words, protektahan natin yan na mabuti. And that is the reason why for all the things that have been said about Secretary Gina Lopez, she was able to make sure that that particular protected area status was really worked out. And of course, then Secretary Roy Simato insisted. Yung mga iba doon yung nagkwakwari, yung malaking quarry operations dyan, Rapid City, in-stop niya. It is back. Yun ang problema na, it's back. To our dismay, of course, at lahat.
Ang ating kasalukuyang DNR Secretary.
I cannot understand. There is something wrong with somewhere with this kind of thing. Lalo ngayon, we have been advised by the world that we are nasa top 3 tayo. In terms of waste.
Mantakin mo yan.
Mantakin mo yan. We are talking about plastics. Part tayo dun sa nagkakaroon ng mga plastic islands in the Pacific. Kasama na natin dyan ang China, pero tinatalo na yata natin ang China pagdating dyan sa ganyan. We are talking about 1.6 billion people versus 110 million na medyo mabigat-bigat.
Napaka-unfair naman kinlasify tayong top 3. Meron tayong mga immovable garbage bins sa mga highway. Oo. Sa ibang bansa, wala nun.
We are the only country na creatively came out with it.
May malalaking garbage bins tayo, nilalagay natin sa gitna ng highway. Tapos,
that's how we handle our waste. Medyo mabigat-bigat yan. Pero the good news naman parang Joel is that one of the better shipbuilding companies in the country, Chunishi, is expanding its shipbuilding operations production in Cebu. This is in Balamban. Napunta na ako dyan kasi meron Chunishi, meron din Australian, meron din Pinoy. Actually, we have a shipbuilding industry. Matagal na. Pati na botas. Marami tayong mga maliliit lang na shipyard. Pero this particular shipyards in Balamban, in Cebu, malaki.
Anong klaseng mga barko ang gagawin ng Chunishi?
Malalaki to. Yung iba, merchant ships. Yung iba, yate. Yung iba, para sa Australian Naval Forces.
Now, interesting. Why in the Philippines, well, at least yung, hindi naman low cost, pero mas magandang numbers. Tapos meron tayong mga industries din, craftsmen. Dahil hindi ka basta-basta maglalagay ng shipbuilding facility. Ito, fifth expansion, ika-5 na. Nag-i-expansion talaga sila ng shipbuilding sa Cebu. Saan to? Sa Balabag?
Balamban. It's a nice place in Cebu. At saka yan, talaga, medyo may pagka-cove yung
Okay.
yung area na workout.
Yung mga taga ron talagang bihasa sa
Bihasa.
sa paggawa ng
And there is also an area in Leyte na meron din ganyan na shipbuilding, maliit lang na shipyard. Si Captain Jess Morales is the one that's handling this. And sinasabi niya, he's also going to expand. Siya naman, he is operating yung Bohol Cebu, tawag doon, yung hydrofoil express, Bohol Cebu. Meron siyang ganyang operations. Alam mo, hindi natin napapansin ito, pero may mga ganyan na mga maliliit na mga shipyard, shipbuilding, ship repair facilities. Sabi niya, alam mo, at one point in time, we should be able to handle this, and we are talking to, they should be talking to Secretary Fred Pascual of the DTI para ma-work out na mabuti yan in integrated manner. Sabi ko, Jess, siguro gawin mong zone yan because you can have ship repair, you have a shipyard, you can work it out, you have a ship repair at the same time, and you can also have yung, alam mo, ginagawa ito sa sa India and Pakistan, yung kinakatay yung mga barko.
Okay.
Para pero sabi niya, sinasabi daw ng DTI at saka Department of DNR, medyo may pagka-environmental problem yun. Pero di kawin natin. We come up with some mitigating measures para ma-maintain yun. Kasi malaking business din yung yung pagkakatay ng barko.
Okay.
Malaking business yan. Indeed, it goes also to be a part of a shipbuilding industry because gagawa ka ng barko. After a while, siyempre, may ship repair.
Ini-scuttle.
Tapos after a while, kakatayin mo na.
May life yan eh.
It's a whole industry. And if you can work it out, na ganyan, pwede matrabaho yan na mabuti. I hope the President will be talking to the German group. There is
sa pagbiyahe niya.
Sa pagbiyahe na.
Sa Germany.
Because there is a German group that came about 2 years ago. Tinulungan pa namin sila they wanted to put up a big shipbuilding, shipyard, and in this program in Bais, in Negros Oriental. I hope this is the company that the President will be talking to in Germany.
Anong itatayo?
Malaki shipbuilding also. And the shipyard.
Malapit din sa Dumaguete ito, di ba?
Oh, yes. May area doon
Kasi
na nakita na nila, and it is a good area. It's far from the baka magalit na naman kayo.
Hindi ito yung may mga dolphin, ha? Hindi, Butanding, hindi yun.
It's another part of that,
Okay.
Hindi ho yung, of course, hindi natin gagalawin yung Butanding, iba yan. I-work out. Pero ito, it's also somehow, some part of a cove na ma-workout. Ang dyan, nagdala dyan dati, si Captain Fidelio from Antique, sabi niya, alam mo, Kung gusto sana namin itong dalhin noon sa Antique because he ran for governor of Antique. Unfortunately, apparently, the leadership at that time was not prepared to invite itong group na ito ng German companies. So they went to, tinulungan namin sila. They went to Negros Oriental and we talked with then Governor Pride Henry Teves.
Okay.
And he showed us a place na area not far from Bais but within that particular na maganda para sa shipyard, and the German companies already agreed. This German company.
Nangyari at
I hope nga yun.
ma-follow up yun.
Hindi, I hope yun nga pupunta ni Presidente. And I have talked to...
Kaya rin attractive para sa mga shipbuilders dahil international ang Pilipinas dahil of our archipelagic nature.
Yes.
Madaling gawin dito and then from there lalayag na.
And at the same time, we have good craftsmen, we have good technical people, natural, and we handle 35% of the world's crew.
Okay.
Sa commercial. 35%. Ang Pilipino. Pinakamalaki tayo sa seafarers. Magmula sa captains hanggang sa AB lang, able-bodied seamen. Magmula captain na nag-ano na tayo. We have improved. And in all categories, nandoon na tayo. Kaya nga, this should be one of the main efforts that we can do in the case of what we call the blue economy. Kasi yan ang isa sa mga workout dapat dyan, aside from the aquaculture kind of thing, for resources. Itong tungkol dito sa shipbuilding, seafaring, yung ganong klase. At lahat. Marami tayong pwedeng gawin pagdating dito. And we can be the hub. We can be that particular area in the Philippines. You remember diyan sa Hanjin, di ba dati?
Hanjin, sa Subic.
Sayang lang eh. I hope, I understand. And ito na naman tayo.
Wala na ba Hanjin doon?
Wala na Hanjin doon because na ano yung kanilang mga schedules lahat, etc. They run into some problems. But there is a group, US-Australian group, the Severos group, na they have taken over the Hanjin shipyard, and this is, I hope this is part of their effort, itong US Trade Mission. Because it is a US-Australian group. They are supposed to be taking over, or have taken over, the Hanjin shipyard in Subic, in Olongapo, Subic area. At one point in time, parang Joel, they were, ito yung mga malalaking barko yung mga Panamax at lahat. They were employing 30,000.
Yung Hanjin
yung Hanjin,
sa
shipyard
Subic.
in Subic. Malaking operasyon yan. Alam mo itong mga ganitong mga trabaho, pwede natin gawin Kagaya niyan, shipyards, yung mga maintenance na aircraft. Malaking business yan. Isipin mo yung mga aircraft natin. Meron na tayo, of course, dito, yung German company rin dito. They are already doing aircraft maintenance here. But many of our aircrafts, including the private ones, yung mga, alam mo na, mga big time na mga, may mga jet yan.
May mga sariling hangar.
Sariling hangar. Pupunta po sa Singapore para mag-repair.
Samantalang it could be done here na.
Parang nagre-repair doon, Pinoy din.
Pinoy din. Kita mo yun.
Bakit din na
lagi naman ganun
Kaya nga sinasabi ka namin sa kanila, dyan sa Clark, mayroon tayong, pwede natin lagyan yan. At pati yung Subic Airport, kung it can be a commercial airport, but not in the manner na yung regular commercial airport, but it can be a commercial airport for cargo. At the same time, aircraft repair, maintenance yard, pwede naman gawin yun So, pwede sigurong gawin yan yung bagong SBMA administrator, pwede nilang ibuhayin yan. Kasi nung panahon ni Senator Gordon, that was part of the effort. As a matter of fact, FedEx was there.
FedEx.
Ewan ko kung ano nangyari. Whatever happened to that.
Logistics.
It has a logistics hub. Ewan ko kung ano nangyari dyan ngayon. Marami tayong pwedeng gawin, i-revive We do not have to reinvent a lot of things Pati sa agriculture nga, we don't have to reinvent. Coconut industry na lang Ayusin, coconut, coffee, cacao. Ang dami na natin pwedeng, nandito na tayo Abaka. Abaka. That's another industry that can be
worldwide, ano pa rin ba?
Yes.
Abaka?
Ginagamit pa rin yan doon sa currency.
Okay.
At saka yung mga,
nga pala.
At saka yung
sa textile.
May workout yan. Pwede natin gawin. Pineapple, of course, it can be repurposed. Hindi lang yung pineapple kinakain natin. Ginagamit din yan sa textile, By the way.
Pinya.
Yan, nawawala sa atin yan. Sayang na sayang. Marami tayong mga ganyan na pwede natin tingnan. I-categorize siguro natin yan Ito yung mga basic na pwede naman talagang it's part of our historical resource in a sense. And then we can go into semiconductors, we can go into electronics. Pwede na yan. Pero ito, huwag natin pababayaan to. Kagaya na, at one point in time, I don't know if I have already, but I minention ko na to dito sa ating programa parang Joel. Si dating Samar Congressman Ed Sarmiento.
Okay.
At one point in time, during the time of Secretary Simatu sa DNR, sabi niya, kasi ang DNR, there is a program called the National Greening Program.
Okay.
So nakalaan dyan yung mga pagtatanim, lahat kung ano mga varieties na pwede. Sabi niya kay Secretary, Sir, pwede bang gamitin namin itong pondo allocated to our district instead of just yung mga traditional, mga nara-nara, whatever. Baka naman pwede namin gamitin ho namin ito para yung mga backyard operations namin dati for pili at saka for cacao, ma-revive. Hindi ko alam na yung summer pala, meron silang pili at saka meron silang cacao.
Oo.
Historically. Akala natin yung
na-discontinue yung industry na yan noon.
Isipin mo, ang alam natin ng pili.
Tapos nagtanim sila ng iba.
Nandun lang sa Bicol.
Sa Bicol.
Yung pala dun sa summer meron. O isipin mo yun, sabi ni Secretary, pwede natin pag-usapan yan, Kong. Sabi niya sa kanya, ano bang mga kailangan natin? Bakit ito basically? Isipin mo
that's how you start.
Ang laki ng programa. Tapos sabi niya, meron na ho akong programa. Ako na mag-iipon, we will consolidate, work out things, and kami na yung mag-pro-process ng mga yan para maging finished product.
No, you mentioned that kasi, alam mo yung, di ba nandito na yung Japanese firm, yung Mitsukoshi. May mall. Sa nakita ko, may tinitinda sila. Pinackage nila, pili na tinikman ko. Ang sarap. Pero sourcing dito. Sabi nga lang sa akin nung manager ng Mitsukoshi, nga lang, you have a problem. Sana makonsolidate yung maramihan para we can justify na magkatayo ka lang malaking facility to process it. Sabi niya, ang laki ng market nito. Sarap na sarap daw mga hapon dyan. Saka sa China, wala sila niyan.
Wala sila niyan.
Ang ba ginawa nila? Pinackage, they did something kasi iba yung lasa, pero pili siya.
Pero nilagyan ng konting tsokolate,
tapos pinackage ng magandang packaging.
Yun na.
Mga hapon.
Magagaling sa gano'n.
Sabi nga niya, malaki to. Sabi niya, if you can only come up with a way na, kaya nga maganda nga yung sinasabi, whether cooperatives or something.
Some people, tinatawagan ko nga si Congressman Sarmiento, Brad, ano bang ginawa mo yan? Even if you're no longer in Congress or in government, total ikaw naman ay businessman, tignan natin ulit, baka sakaling ma-revive natin yan. Not only in Samar, but in some other areas. Kagaya niyan, pili.
Anyway, yung kinikwento ko sa Mitsukoshi, purely by accident, kasi itong manager na hapon, tsaka yung misis niya, in-interview ko dahil nung nagtayo sila, nagpasyal sila nung nag-road trip sila nung misis niya, nakarating sila ng Bicol, na-discover niya yung pili. Sarap nito Tapos naggala siya ng ilang scientist or something. But kukunti lang ang yung gawa nila, hindi maramihan.
That is a challenge to our friends in Albay, in Bicol, and of course in Samar, in some other area.
Meron pala.
Kong, baka ikaw gusto mo pang tingnan dito.
Tayap tayo dito.
Alam mo ba yung Mitsukoshi, by the way, yung mga ginagawa doon ng mga how it was model yung paggawa doon, it's done by a Filipino group,
Talaga?
Yung kanilang workout at lahat, etc. By the son of, yung anak ko pa to ni Attorney Manuel Ocampo at saka yung sila ang gumawa nung the workout doon sa At the same time, they also have a product. Yung grupo na yan, yung anak ni Attorney Ocampo, ni Monolet, sila rin yung Auro. Yung tsokolate.
Okay.
They are reviving the cacao industry. They are also helping revive the cacao industry in Davao. And then sabi nila, gagawa daw sila ng other areas where there was traditionally cacao production. Meron tayong gano'n. Pag din natin pwedeng i-revive yung mga ganyan, pwede natin work out. Aside from venturing ka agad dito, okay lang naman yung electronics, pero dito, very competitive tayo dahil wala nga pili kung other areas Tayo meron
Tapos yung modern technology ngayon, kayang-kaya.
Kayang-kaya na yan.
Economies of scale, mas mura na, hindi gaya
work out na natin kagad dito. Baka mamaya magkaroon ng mga production in Thailand or some other place. Manghihinayang na naman tayo.
Huwag na tayong magalit sa Singapore na binayaran sa Taylor Swift. Gumawa tayo ng gimmick natin. Sila, wala silang hinterland, wala silang matamnan dun tayo meron.
Kagaya niyan, naunahan na tayo. Yan, best example. Alam mo ba, ewan ko kung napunta ka na, ikaw punta ka ng punta sa Tarlac, parang Joel. Dapat pumunta ka rin doon sa Anao.
Sa...
Anao, it's in the northern part of, this is the Ilocano part
okay,
of
okay,
Tarlac.
okay.
Pag pumasok ka doon, bago ka pa pumasok sa bayan, maamoy na ilang-ilang.
Ay,
Yan ang ilang-ilang
ayan
country. Yan ang ilang-ilang country. Pero,
bangon yan.
mabango yan eh. Pero, there was a time when Ambassador Danding Cuanco was still around. He was the one who was promoting things together with Vic. Si Gob, Governor Vic Yap. They were promoting it and they have, in Anao, ma-workout nila doon. And they were processing it at lahat.
Pabango.
Mabango. Talagang yung oil.
Yung essence.
Yung essence ma-workout.
Again, ayan.
Ang sayang, nakuha na ng French yung patent yan. Ano ba yun?
French ang nakakuha ng patent.
Yung oil.
So now they patent it differently.
Sila yun. Magiging ano na lang tayo dyan. We don't have any more
Sana man lang lagyan nila ng bragging rights. This is from the
for
province of the Philippines.
Tarlac, something like that.
Baka hindi.
Wala yun. Ginagawa na rin yan. And it's good that Mayor Paul Batawil in Lingayen is doing that in his area right now.
Pag pinatent, so for example tayo, hindi na natin pwedeng pasukan yan, gawa tayo ng sarili natin.
Pwede rin siguro, pero yung mga, ewan ko kung ano may mga legal na word. Saka ito, by the way, balik tayo sa pili, hindi lang ko kinakain ito. Yung pili oil nito, sabi ni Congressman Sarmiento, maano rin sa skin.
So na-extract din.
Na-extract din.
So kita nyo maraming
ang laking programa nito, na workout, mga traditional products natin that we can revive in a big way. Kasi dati, backyard eh. Pero now we can do it in a big way because there is now technology for that purpose and we can work it out. True. That's one good program that we can do. Uy!
Ayan na naman.
Ano na? Ayan na ba?
Basahin pa ba yan?
Ay, tayo po mag-break muna dito sa ating programang Karambola sa DWIC alas 9:31 ng umaga.
Balikan natin ang ating mga karambulista at ang programa Karambola sa DWIZ.
Karambola! Balik po tayo dito sa ating programa ang Karambola sa DWIZ. Ito po rin yung mga kaibigan, Jonathan De La Cruz, siyempre kasama natin, paring Joel Laksamana, si paring Conrad, baka siguro mga nasa 5 or 6 hall na yan.
Nasa front 9 pa lang yan.
Front 9 pa lang.
Pero sana hindi siya ganong nagbibehind. Bubungkal lang sa mga drive niya, approach siya. Pero meron dito si Chris Bazil. Sabi niya, we've been repairing and maintaining ships in the dry docks of Baseco in Maribeles in the 1980s now. We got the skills. Most of the skills daw, yung mga the blasters nasa first na ngayon daw, nandun na sa Australia.
Nasa labas na.
Nalabas na. Pero yun, Maribeles, ano?
Kasi sa Baseco niyan, mayroon dyan. We have been a traditional seafaring country. We have traditional shipbuilding skills. We have craftsmen and everything else. Talagang meron. Diyan sa Nabotas, talagang ano yan trabaho diyan sa Nabotas yan. Yung mga barko-barko natin, yung mga maliliit.
Pero yan, di ba kailangan merong steel industry capability ka rin dyan?
Eventually.
But
ngayon, of course, we are importing a lot of our requirements. Yan ang nangyayari sa ngayon. Dito sa Choniji, dito sa Balamban, they are importing a lot of those, but we are also producing some of the smaller parts dito. At I'm sure if we get to be bigger eventually, baka we will be able to again support our steel industry. Isa naman yan sa mga programa na ginagawa ni Secretary Go na under the direction of the President, yung what they call critical minerals. So critical minerals that includes yung para copper, gold, nickel, lahat yung mga rare earth at lahat. Many of these will need some processing at one point in time. So I hope, again, the follow-through is the necessary thing because naka-layout na marami dito sa mga programa na ito, parang Joel, yung problema, yung follow-through nagiging sagabal pagdating dyan, either either hindi napapalo through tama o hindi o nababagalan o iniba
Oo.
Yun ang problema kung minsan, iniiba na. Iniiba yung mga priorities at lahat. Sayang. Huwag naman sanang gawin.
Ito, meron banggitin natin anong gustong pag-usapan yung debt natin. Pero ito, merong storya rito. Well, one, mahilig natin pag-usapan doon sa issue sa West Philippines Sea. Pilipinas lang tayong maingay dahil tayong naapektuhan pati yung doon sa...
Basically.
But now, ngayon, ang Vietnam sumali na rin. Sinabi nga na calls for restraint sa South China Sea following fresh tensions between Philippines and China. There's sa Ayungin Shoal, ganyan. Sabi niya, huwag daw pa dalos-dalos, sana mapag-usapan, ganyan. This comes on the heels. May storya rito na a majority, may nag-poll research firm, Okta na naman pala to no? A majority of Filipinos, or about 77%, said they are willing to fight for the country should there be a war with a foreign entity. Hindi na sinabi kung China yon. Among the age groups, this was highest at 87% for ages 45 to 54. Medyo may edad na yun. Younger respondents followed with 77% of those ages 25 to 34 and 35 to 44 saying they would be willing to fight. Tapos youngest sa group, yung 18 to 24, 74%. So, ang tanong if there is a conflict between the Philippines and a foreign enemy, are you ready to fight for your country? A minority ang nagsabi, 23% lang nagsabi na hindi sila lalaban.
Dapat 100%.
100%.
Alam mo kung bakit? Foreign country.
Foreign country.
It's not specifically China. Ang ano natin yan, you have to defend your country. Definitely.
Definitely.
Oo. Whatever happens, whether it is the US, China, or other foreign countries.
Pinag-uusapan rin lang natin yan, bro. I mean, I wanted to get your opinion on this. May kausap ako over the weekend na parang ang tough talking naman na ngayon ni President Bongbong Marcos. Yung sabihin niyang David at Goliath, itong labanan sa China at tayo. At ingat kayo, China, in biblical, si David, sa biblical history, si David ang nanalo.
Binanggit niya yun?
Oo, hindi ba parang dangerous yun na we're talking about a fairy tale? Because, look, in history naman, kahit panahon nila Alexander the Great, pag maliit ka, talagang magagapi ka ng mas malaking kalaban, di ba? Or,
What particular interview was that? Was that...
Nasa Australia siya.
It was his statement.
No, it's a statement na niliken niya sa David and Goliath stiff labanan.
I have yet to,
Tapos, pero sinundan niya ng, and bear in mind that David won. Teka muna, ang hirap to, bro. Kaya nga itong kaibigan natin si Bobby Tiglao, sabi, that's dangerous talk daw. Well, sobra naman to si Bobby. Hindi naman idiotic. Masyado naman si Bobby, masyadong maangas magsalita.
Pero, I did not realize na nasabi niya pala yun. Hindi ko nababasa yun.
But if he did say that,
it's quite unfortunate. I can only describe it as unfortunate. I will not describe it as uncalled for because he must have his reason.
Must have his reason.
Yes, but it's just unfortunate because at the time na we need some, sinasabi nga ng Vietnam, cooling out, in this World War. It's unfortunate that there should be that kind of response.
Tsaka, even Singapore pala nagsalita at sino ba in the sidelines si Anwar sa Malaysia. Ingat-ingat din kayo Pilipinas, Are you expecting yung mutual defense agreement yung sa US that will not pan out? It will not...
Nabanggit din nila doon.
Pero in the sidelines.
Because there was a special summit.
It
was held in Australia for the first time because the summits usually are held in countries belonging to ASEAN. You don't have a summit of leaders of ASEAN in another part of the world na hindi naman member ng but that may be an effort because there was what I read ang nabasa ko was si Presidente was actually espousing the idea na ang Australia be part of ASEAN.
Oh, yeah.
Di ba,
He did
meron
say
siyang
that.
ganun
Oo.
Meron siyang ganun na
Maging part ng ASEAN. He was pushing for that.
He was pushing for that.
Ibang,
After all, they have already,
encourage ang Australia na mag-participate more sa ASEAN.
after all, they have already incorporated into ASEAN yung Timor-Leste.
Oo.
Which is near Australia. It's in Australia and Indonesia. Magkakalapit yan.
Okay.
So, well, nakikinig naman si Presidente sa mga ibang leaders, pati dito, maski na itong mga nagre-research na ito, mukhang palaban na X percentage will...
Sino ba nag-commission yan? Mukhang
Hindi ko alam kung
AFP yata eh.
Hindi ko alam kung sino.
Nakalagay the survey was commissioned by the Armed Forces of the Philippines. After the China Coast Guard, yung nag-fire sila ng water cannon. Timing naman, ito namang Okta.
Came up with that research.
Oo, came up with that research. Pag tinanong ka naman, ikaw ba ilalaban? Para sa
Against a foreign country?
Siyempre,
100% dapat. Bakit meron pang hesitation?
Wala na.
Wala. If you are talking about a foreign country, not necessarily China, lumaban tayo, siyempre. Maski nabamalit tayo.
Oo. Sure.
Sure. Kung ini-invade ka na, ibig mo sabihin, iiwasan mo, wala yun.
Pero yung mutual defense agreement natin sa US, hanggang saan ba? This was made in 1951. Panahon ng Cold War yan. Well, Korean War yan eh.
Papasok sa Korean War.
Korean War yan.
1950 din Korean War eh.
50s. Iisa lang ang superpower noon, US lang. China was really a bit impoverished pa nga at that time eh. So,
dalawa lang sila naglalaban.
US
at saka
Russia. So, ibang mundo nun.
Ibang mundo nun.
Now, sa current modern, na ngayon ang mundo ngayon,
There are
parang iba na.
It's a multipolar world. May iba't ibang mga influences. Kagaya niyan, Did you ever think, paring Joel, na itong Houthis can do harm?
Oo.
Ano ba yung Houthis na yan?
Na-hostage ang buong mundo
na-hostage nila ang buong mundo. This is
meron silang surface-to-air missiles. Pag dumaan ka doon sa territory, yayariin ka.
Tignan mo yan. We are talking about a militia against the greatest military power in the world. The US. So yun ang ibig sabihin ko.
And then, tapos the US, as you know, na-bloody na yung nose nila in several small conflicts. Gaya nung sa, yung sa Black Hawk.
Sa Somalia.
Sa Somalia.
Yung Black Hawk.
Malay ba nilang
Afghanistan ba itself?
Afghanistan.
Unconquered. Afghanistan by itself. And it was such a rush withdrawal. Diyan sa...
I cannot see a country like the US, the modern US na ngayon, will come to the aid of any smaller country, no matter how allied they are.
Alam mo, parang Joel, dapat maliwanagan tayo dito sa experience ng Ukraine.
Ukraine. Ano ba ang lessons ng Ukraine?
What are the lessons? Pero tignan natin na mabuti ito before we get into any kind of another accelerated world war. Before this
conflict na...
Before it transforms into another problem. Tignan mo Ukraine. The Ukraine is no longer the Ukraine. The Ukraine that we knew 2-3 years ago. Devastated, complete. Pati yung mga production facilities nila, oil, pati yung kanilang fields.
Tapos lahat ng arms merchants, ginawa silang laboratory pa rin. Lahat ng armas.
Lahat ng armas nandoon. So gusto ba natin mangyari sa buhay natin yun dito sa Pilipinas? Sana there has to be a way by which we will be able to work things out properly para hindi na tayo mailagay pa doon sa alanganin na it can happen at any given time. Yung mga iba, just one shot conflagration ng atin. We don't want that to happen to us. Not even for a minute.
Kasi ang nangyayari dito, ewan ko sa basa ko really talagang si President Bongbong Marcos, he is very diplomatic, magandang kanyang lingwahe, but it's very obvious na talagang he's thrown his lot with the US talaga. Tapos pati yung ambassador natin doon, sila Babes, kung magsalita, the Gibo Doctrine, meron tayo dito, ating Secretary of Defense.
So,
talagang, definitely, parang ano talaga,
within the inner circles of the
we've
President,
thrown our lot with the Americans.
there is already some sort of a consensus na yun na yun.
Oo.
Di ba? Our security, our life defense.
Yeah.
Defense
Now,
line is...
compare this several years ago nung presidente naman si President Duterte, kabaliktaran naman talaga yung kanya.
Nandun naman siya sa kabila. He stopped the US. He never
Stopped the US.
Hindi siya pumunta sa Amerika for any reason. Hindi siya pumunta doon. Di ba?
Never.
Usually, Philippine presidents usually,
Oo.
whether a working visit,
Hindi,
whether
si President
state visit,
Bongbong, unang trip niya, talaga sa US ka pinuntahan niya, di ba?
some of our presidents, even if, basta tumapak sila sa US soil, pumunta sila sa New York for the UN Assembly. Usually ganun.
Oo.
But President Duterte
Never did that. And then meanwhile, he made overtures to China.
Yeah.
Na,
He made serious overtures.
to
At
China.
saka very, very friendly sa China. So, meron. There was an extreme and now, right now, under this administration, a lot of people are saying we are going to the other extreme.
Yeah.
So,
And then you get surveys like
Yeah.
this. Kaya ko lang nababanggit. Then you get
We are
a
playing-
timing ng survey
Yeah.
na to. Ano to? Baka hindi nyo lang kung gera, especially now. And then kaya nga nung binanggit mo yung Ukraine.
Yeah.
I mean, tingnan mo nangyari sa Ukraine, di ba? Unrecognizable na siya. Hindi ito gaya nung panahon nung mga ninuno natin, nung World War II, na talagang patriotic. Tara, lalaban tayo. Hindi na ganun ang gera ngayon eh.
hindi, hotis nga eh.
Putis ka eh.
Kaya kang tirahin ng mga
Tirahin.
malilita. You can get the world to stand still eh. Anong klaseng weapons yan, di ba?
Which is why siguro yun na nga, yung Vietnam, and even our friends in ASEAN, medyo nagsasalita na sa sidelines, although sa Vietnam, hindi, nagpa-quote talaga siya na, hinay-hinay muna tayo, maybe we can address this in a more peaceful way, a more
We
diplomatic
can
way.
resolve whatever road there is.
Oo.
Because ako, pare,
Oo.
yes, there was we should condemn yung ginawa ng China, etc. We should always condemn all of these things, including their efforts to bar our fisher folks from fishing
Okay.
in that area.
Okay.
But these are not actions, to my mind lang naman, that rise up to the level of a conflagration.
Oo.
It cannot
This
rise
is not a
up.
Pearl Harbor attack
This is-
or pinasabog yung isang barko nung panahon nung
Sa Cuba.
Cuba,
Diba?
hindi ganun to.
Hindi, Louisiana, yung
Yeah.
pagsabog ng Louisiana. Baka mamaya magkaroon tayo ng problema, kakayo nang nangyari dito.
Hindi natin
Doon sa
mapawi
San Juan,
na.
one fire, one shot. Nagkaroon ng Filipino-American War.
yung si
Diba?
Private Grayson.
Private
Oo,
Grayson. Gusto ba natin yung ganun? We don't want that to happen to us. Not at the time.
Not this time na, ayan, ano yung
Not
sinabi ko?
at any given time.
Not in any given time.
Anyway.
Kaya na debt natin, we're trying to get investors and everything, we're trying to build an economy. It really looks like, yung timing hindi maganda.
It really looks unfortunate, as I said. I will not use the word uncalled for because, as I said, the president must have his own reasons.
Pabuti na lang yung mga dyaryo ni-relegate nila in a small, lower fold yung story niyan. Most Filipinos willing to
Yeah.
fight for the country.
And
Lahat
medyo...
tayo gusto lumaban, siyempre, pero ang totoo lang, ang huweteng eh.
Gusto ba natin?
Iba ang nasa tiyan ng tao ngayon eh.
Oo,
Presyo
iba.
ng bigas, ng pagkain,
At saka,
ng ano.
These countries will not go to a shooting war. I think.
Shooting
Ano
war
lang
with
yan?
what?
Economic, ano lang ito? Economic war lang. Ang ginagawa nga ng Amerika, economic war eh. Tinitira nila mga sanctions at lahat eh. Yan ang ginagawa nila. It's only in Ukraine and that is a zone that I think the arms merchants of the world, especially the U.S. military establishment, prodded the U.S. government to do. And kawawang Ukraine because Zelensky allowed himself to be put into that hole. It's really a hole right now because most of the people who were supposed to be helping him The NATO, for example, the NATO countries are abandoning him. Wala na sila. They cannot even pass. In the US, for example, which is the lead in this particular effort, not to confront China to confront Russia via Ukraine.
Putin,
hindi nila ma-confront ang Russia directly, so they are confronting Russia via Ukraine. Ano nangyari sa Ukraine? Caught in the middle sila. Ngayon,
nagamit silang pawn. And that's the word eh. Ayaw nating magamit tayong pawn sa
sitwasyon na yan.
Chessboard na to.
Kagaya ngayon yan, the US, President Biden cannot even pass the aid to Ukraine bill. $62 billion na ibibigay na plus the other armaments na pwedeng ibigay. They cannot even pass that because there is a significant sector in the US that's now against this war. So ano yan? Let us not go that far. Kung pwede lang naman. I think and I cannot see any reason why we should get our world war rise to the level of conflagration. I don't think so. We should and pag yan ang tinanong mo dyan sa Okta research na yan, I'm sure pag nalaman ng tao na gano'n ang mangyayari, I'm sure hindi ganyan ang mga specifically on the issue of a shooting war with China.
Well, the question, hindi naman binanggitan China.
No.
If there's a conflict between the Philippines and a foreign enemy.
Kaya nga sinabi ko, 100% dapat. If it is a foreign enemy, so-called foreign, and it is real, it is a real enemy. 100% ka dapat. Mali ito. Dapat ka 100% ka. Bakit ka nag-hesitate if you're already being invaded? Or, hindi pwede yun. Dapat 100%. Pero, as I said, isipin mo, pag-iisipan natin yung mga ganyan, pag-uusapan natin, bakit hindi natin pag-usapan yung ating debt, for example?
Okay, yung debt natin na pala.
1.6 trillion.
Pag-usapan natin yan, 1.6 trillion.
That is 20% of our budget. 20%. So, paano?
Bakit ba lumaki yan? Dahil panahon din ng pandemic.
Pandemic.
Labas tayo ng labas ng pera. Gaya ng ibang bansa naman, ginawa rin naman yun.
And then some other things that we did. We encourage a lot of obligations, infrastructure, etc. and everything. So, this is a challenge, of course, to Secretary Recto, who is, I understand, going to be confirmed this week. I think pinag-aaralan nila ngayon yan, which of these debts, together with the BSP, they're working together with the BSP and of course the DBM, which of these debts can be, number one, which of these debts can be restructured, which of these debts should be reviewed.
At nagagawa naman ng paraan yun.
Actually, nagawa na. Kagaya nung, we were supposed to have a loan. I don't know if if we actually used part of that loan from the Chinese for the train systems in many parts of the world. I don't know if that has already been given up. Have we used part of that o hindi ko alam?
Ito ba yung train system na gagawin sana sa Mindanao?
Dito sa Bicol. Yung pupuntang Bicol. So, give up na natin.
Give up yan dahil nagkaroon tayong problema sa China.
So this is really the challenge to Secretary Recto right now. I understand his team is looking into this. All of the loans that we have. After all, most of our, about 75-80% of our loans are local loans. But even so, the local loans, malaki, pero malaki rin naman yung doon sa foreign loans. And then they're looking at it this way, in a manner of speaking. Number one, is it possible? Is still possible for us to scuttle the loan? Kaya nangyari dyan sa Chinese loan for the train. Number one yun. Number two, in the review. Number two, is it possible for us to negotiate for lower rates? Para naman magkaroon tayo ng leeway. Number 3, is it possible for us to lengthen the period of payment?
Yung bayaran. No?
Bayaran, para ma-workout. And then, is it possible for us to have part of the loan be considered as a grant? For example, yan ang mga ginagawa. And then in the case of the local loans, let's take a look at this. Ano na ba itong mga local loans na ito? What are these, and then the usage of these loans. By the way, importante yung usage, ha? Kasi baka mamaya, naglo-loan tayo, but we are not using it responsibly or properly, or hindi natin nagagampanan the conditionalities of the loan, kaya nagbabayad tayo nang hindi nagagamit to the optimum. The best example is the subway. Pag hindi mo naayos yung right of way, diyan sa subway na yan, araw-araw ka
umaandar yan, bayad dyan, yung metro dyan.
Umaandar yung metro
Pero
dyan.
teka muna, sinabi na ni Secretary Jimmy Bautista that we are 44%
The rate.
44%.
Hindi ko maintindihan.
Hindi naman completion yun, ha?
Hindi. 16% ngayong kanilang completion, eh.
Oo. Hindi, okay. Ako nga pala nag-explain nung isang araw. Iyan yung prepositioning ng mga gamit para pag kumandar na yung 40%.
Pag mayroon na.
Nakapwesto na.
Nakapwesto na, yeah.
Yung mobilization of
40% is the rate of prepositioning. Yan. And 16% is the rate of completion.
Alam mo, pag sa private sector, hindi ubray.
Bubugbugin ka dyan.
Google Pay ka sa boardroom.
Google Pay ka ng boardroom yan. Sasabihin sa'yo, ano ba?
Hindi, yung gun chart mo, dalawa. Isa sa the red line and the blue line.
Papatayin ka dyan. Sasabihin, please.
Ayusin mo yan. Mag-proceed dito.
Kagaya niyan, it is true na dyan sa Valenzuela, they have already contracted the place for the depot. Pero, yung place for the depot, may mga buildings eh. Paano mo gagawin ngayon yun? Sige nga, yun ang sinasabi ko.
Underground depot. Hindi rin.
Kaya sinasabi mo, tama yan eh. 40% ang rate of prepositioning. 16% ang rate of completion. Hindi maganda. Kasi, that's been, 1.5 years. Medyo mabigat yan. And we are paying, ha? It's not as if libre-libre itong mga ito.
Well, hopefully, by the way, si Secretary Recto will be confirmed, di ba?
This week.
This week. So,
magaling si Secretary Recto sa ganyan.
Yun naman I think walang problema yan. He will be confirmed. But definitely, the way you, the challenge
is overwhelming.
I don't envy him. But then again, yan naman ang expertise.
Magaling siya sa ganyan.
Sa finance and all that. But when you look at it, parang sa atin din, ba? Ako minsan may mga loans din ako. Kumuti na nga, kumunti na ngayon eh. Dahil nag-retire na ako. But still, there are it's just a matter of mag-uusap kami ni Mrs. Ano ba, paano na i-manage natin.
Priorities, what can manage, work it out.
Compared yung humongous na challenges.
1.6 trillion ng ating.
Tapos yun na nga, alin ang loans na isa-scuttle, alin yung
yung 1.6 trillion
structure, ano yung hirap?
Is debt servicing, ha?
Debt servicing.
Because our debt at this point in time, I understand, is 15 trillion.
Okay.
Well, wala tayong oras kasi baka magalit sa atin.
Loans, debt, ang pinag-usapan natin.
Pinagkukunan natin ng debt dito, ng isang minuto dito sa oras ng ating kaibigan. Huwag ko kayong alis kasi papasok na ang ating kaibigan, well-dressed, talaga namang matindi. Ronda Pilipinas with award-winning and journalist and of course, bangus, napakasarap.
Ako, tinikman ko finally kahapon, yung lagyan mo lang, hiwaan mo lang ng sibuyas.
Yan, sarap niya.
Kunting sili.
Ang ating
Mainit na
kaibigan,
kanin, puno,
Ronda Pilipinas, si Dennis Antenor Jr.
Karambola.
Sumainyo ang programang Karambola sa DWIZ. Hanggang sa muli, tayo'y magbabalik upang ihatid ang pagtalakay sa iba't ibang mga issue dito pa rin sa programang Karambola sa DWIZ.